All right, we're back. Trying to make another Griselda type beat. Let's go. All right, so this beat was a little bit started already, but right now I'm just kind of sequencing, trying to work out what the verse is going to be. So that's basically what you're looking at here. Obviously, I'm adjusting volumes because I kind of partial mix as I go, just so I can get a better idea of what I want to do, how I want it to sound. You know, I don't want to wait till the very end and then have to start changing things, which sometimes I do anyways. That's just part of the process. But like, I like to partial mix as I go. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm recording the main melody all by itself because I use Edison to find the melodic line, and I take that melodic line to then create my bass line, which you're going to see in a second. So what I do now is I put an empty track. So I do an empty sampler channel, and then I go to File, Tools, Convert Region to Scale, and then there's the melodic line. So that's the whole main melody in every note where it goes. So I can use that now to make a bass line. So now I'm going to add Omnisphere because I have a bass in there that I like. It's like a realistic sounding type acoustic bass. Put that in its own channel, mono it up, and yeah, and then we're gonna follow that melodic line to create our bass. So we'll see in a second. See, now I'm making sure it's in the right octave. You know, we don't want it too high or too low because it is a bass after all. And I just copied it just to see what it sounded like. See, so this way it's like perfectly on key with the melody. And here I'm just cutting the lows from the main melody because we want to create our own bass line. Obviously we don't want to have two low frequencies clashing with each other. So you see now, so when you play the melody and the bass, you see how they sound together. You know, I use R bass just to kind of fill that low end a little bit, thicken up the sound. You know, you want that rumble when you hear that through any kind of speakers, headphones, through your car. You want to make sure you feel the bass, that like that chest rumble. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm just adding a little bit more low end to it with R bass. R bass is a Waves plugin. I do have Waves 9 and Waves 10. Yes, I have the receipts if you want to see them. Reason why I have Waves is because I mix in Pro Tools as well. So visit the site 84music1.net. We have hundreds of beats to choose from. Buy one, get one free on all leases. MP3 leases, Wave leases, track out stem leases. All right, we're back. So saving my project, always be saving. I'm paranoid about this. I even have autosave on, so it automatically does it for me every 5 minutes, but I'm super paranoid about losing my file. So now, like I said, now I'm sequencing what the verse part is going to be, and then this is where I start adding drops and things like that. So there you go. See, I'm just taking sections out, just trying to keep the verse interesting. Like, yeah, we know it's already a loop, but you know, you still want to have drops here and there, sounds that come in and out. So right here, I'm adding a little like muted pause break just to keep it interesting like this. You see how the drums drop back in? So that just, like I said, just keeping it interesting. You know, and there's no rule to that. You kind of just feel it out, see how it sounds, experiment. So now just adding some little minor background filler sounds. Just see what sounds right. Again, experimentation, listen, see what feels right. There's no hard rule to this, you know. You don't even need to add these sounds if you don't want to. You know, you're creating it, so do what feels right to you. But obviously be careful. Don't overwhelm your beat with so many sounds that the artist, rapper, singer, now they don't have any room to really, you know, put their vocals to the beat. So see, something minor, kind of subtle, and then we're just gonna adjust the volume, kind of put it in the background. Just keep in mind with like a Griselda, a Benny the Butcher, a Conway type beat, you gotta give them room for their bars, obviously. You know, don't overwhelm it with too many sounds. So just more sound picking, you know, just at the moment, this is just what I'm hearing, this is just what I'm vibing to. Again, no rule, go with what feels right to you, but don't overdo it. Just, it's a fine line, it's a fine line. Name your channels, you know, if you're using FL Studio, add colors too, just so that if you can't clearly see the name right away, at least like have certain colors stand out to you. Like for bass, I do red. For main melodies, I might do blue or yellow. You know, just it's kind of a color palette that I kind of made up for myself. So visually, I know what I'm looking at. It might be different for you, so you just work whatever system is best for you. So at this point, I'm thinking like I'm missing a sound, I'm missing something. Maybe like a hook melody. And again, simple. Sometimes less is more. Don't overdo it. You don't have to be a professional piano player out here. And just going through sounds, trying to figure out like, all right, what I want to use, you know. In my head, I kind of heard something with like a wah effect. Something soft like this, a Rhodes, a wah guitar. You know, again, it's a simple beat made for bars, made for rappers. So I'm not trying to like go crazy with a melodic line. I want something that's gonna be tucked in the background. It's just to create a subtle difference from verse to hook. It's not a, you know, it's not an anthem beat or anything crazy like that. We don't need crazy horns blasting. And yes, I'm playing that on a keyboard in case you're wondering what's happening. I'm just trying to find like, all right, what pattern is gonna work here? What melody is gonna sound right? So again, back to like I said earlier, experimentation, play around, play simple keys. You know, like I said, you don't gotta be a piano player. We got the melodic line already, as I showed you earlier, so we know what keys we need. So right here, I just played a 7th chord. I know a little bit of music theory, so if you don't, FL Studio actually has this good feature where it has chord templates built into it. I'll make a tutorial on that for those who don't know about it, and I'll show you like how easy it is inside of FL Studio to create piano chords if you don't know music theory at all. So again, simple little chords, simple little piano hits for the hook part. This is just me testing out. I'm not recording yet, just freestyling, you know. So here, I ended up thinking, okay, I know the melody's longer. So then I started thinking, could I use a different part for the hook? And then right here, this part had like I don't know if that's a lead or a string, but I liked the change that it had. So I said, you know what? I could use a different part for the hook. You see how it changed right there? So my original melody sample already had a lot of elements that I could use. It's just a matter of chopping them the way you want and picking out the sections that you want and then build around that. I mean, it's sampling. That's basically how it goes. You find the pieces you want, chop them, rearrange them for what you need, and then you build around it. So now I just double it up, 8-bar hook, 16-bar verse. And then I just went back to that pattern I was playing earlier, just to kind of fill the background, like I said. You see, like I'm playing it kind of like a call and response, or back and forth. I'm not letting them play together all throughout. So the main melody plays, and then I respond with the melody. And then the main melody plays, and then I respond here again. You see, it's like a conversation, you know, it's a back and forth. That's it, very simple. And now it sounds full. It sounds like a lot is being played, but it's like I said, like a conversation. You speak, then I speak. You speak, then I speak. And look how simple that melody is. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy. So this is just create that, you know, that drop into the hook. So this is most of the beat right here. This is like 98% of the beat. So as you can see, I already started doing my verse drop, sequencing. I got my hook sequence. So at this point, it's just like finishing touches, finishing drops. This is how I'm gonna start the verses. You see, and then I'm gonna add a little pause to fall into the bass, fall into the hi-hats. You know, it's just to create that build up, that anticipation of like, all right, what's coming next type of thing. And this is all preference, like I said earlier. So there's no rule to this. You don't have to drop like this. You could drop right into the bass, right into the hi-hats, you know. Okay, so here, like I said, I'm just adding a drop into the verse. You know, I don't want, when the verse starts, I don't want it to come right into the bass line or the hi-hats. I want it to start with just the drums and the main melody and then drop. And then you start building up from there. And then halfway through, I felt like, all right, let's drop out some sounds again. So we're, you know, creating that anticipation of like, all right, where's it gonna drop next? See? And just keep it interesting, because this also helps the artist too. Like, it helps their creative process. At least I hope so, you know. Maybe it does. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, but this is it. There's the whole verse, drops, everything, and then I use a drum fill to drop you into the hook. We got the 8-bar hook already in there. Again, now just fishing for little sounds. See if I need anything. I'm not even sure at this point. I'm just saying, like, okay, maybe a crash to kind of create that feeling of change from verse to hook, and then back when the verse comes again, we want a crash coming in, and again you tuck that sound in the background. You don't want it to be too loud. I think it's a simple beat. It just has really clever elements. Because, like I said, I'm making it to give the artist space for them to put their vocals over it. You know, but if you want more, visit the site 84music1.net, hundreds of beats.